I have been on an amazing adventure. Okay, so not that long ago, I got an email from QuickBooks, and QuickBooks are an amazing accounting software for small business owners. And it's part of a bigger company called Intuit. And I've known about them for ages. I've used their software before, and I love what they do. They are actually a $1 billion company, and they got in touch to see if I'd be interested in going over to the QuickBooks Connect conference in San Jose, California. It's like, hell yeah, I want to go! So QuickBooks Connect is a conference which is for small business owners and accountants to basically get inspired and to learn about what they're up to, but mainly just to empower and inspire small business owners. So I was like, I am down. So I flew over to California and I had the most incredible time. I really didn't know going into it what I was going to learn as an entrepreneur from a firm that has accounting software to help you manage your finances. And they're a $1 billion company, so I'm kind of was like, I don't know how I relate to this. But then when I got there, I quickly realised there was so much for me to learn. There was so much for me to pick up from what they're doing. So I really wanted to take you behind the scenes of this whole adventure and share with you some of the biggest lessons that I gained from the entire experience. So let me tell you all about it. So this is day one of the QuickBooks Connect event, and it's a VIP day at Intuit in Silicon Valley, and we've just been listening to them talking about the stuff that's coming up, and now we're having a tour of the campusy thing, which is pretty cool. Hashtag office goals. Anyway, it was so cool today to be in this VIP event because, let me just try and sort this out. There we go. Because they were talking about stuff that is so different. You know, like when you're in a space like small businesses, you kind of just hear the same people talking about the same kind of stuff and it doesn't expand your thinking. And being here and listening to these executives like talking about how they're growing into it was just like, wow, like the stuff I mean, you think of like so many different things. It's really cool. So QuickBooks was actually started in the 1980s. Scott Cook started it, and his wife was self-employed and had all this pile of receipts, so he created software for it. And they actually have the kitchen table they started this business from, which is now a $1 billion company. I think the turnover is something like, I don't know, over 4 billion. Anyway, they've got the kitchen table they started from here. Let me show you. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Innovation can occur anywhere at any time. Cool, isn't it? Bit of inspiration for all of us, building our businesses from a kitchen table. Might be a $1 billion company one day. I was thinking, well, how does this work? Like, how does a $1 billion company grow? How has it grown? How has it gone from a kitchen table idea, which is basically all of us, like all of us have started our businesses from just in our heads, from wherever, our kitchen table, our sofa, the shower, wherever. So how has this guy taken it from that idea in his head around the kitchen table to this $1 billion company? And how can me and you, not that we perhaps want to build a $1 billion business, but if we did, how do we apply strategies or the principles that he has to create successful businesses for ourselves? And so one of the biggest lessons that I took away from this entire event was the fact that we have to think big. As entrepreneurs, we have to think big. We have to be able to set the bar so high that we surprise everyone around us and we force ourselves to up level so that we can grow our businesses. It's not about thinking small, playing small. We have to think big in order to grow big. This was a massive lesson that I learned when I was speaking to Dominic Allen, who is the VP for the UK and Europe.
Strength is your ability to think big, and you will almost, you'll end up with what you're willing to tolerate, right? So if you think that you're a UK business, you'll be a UK business. If you think you're European, you'll be European. If you think you're going to be global, with offices in New York, London and Hong Kong, you'll probably end up there. So I think right at the heart of it is having a really strong, compelling vision for what kind of customers you want to serve, and what kind of scale you want to achieve. And I think it's the difference between like having resources and being resourceful. Because I think as an entrepreneur, often you don't have resources. You start off with a small amount of capital, maybe the bank at mum and dad, or you've got some savings. If you're lucky, you might have an angel investor. You probably won't have like stock market capital or massive teams in international locations, but you can be resourceful. And working with partners and being scrappy and agile and moving quickly and testing and iterating quickly, you can actually do quite incredible things. And the interesting thing also about your kind of audience of entrepreneurs is that it's funny how often in big businesses they're envious of the agility and the independence and the autonomy that small businesses have. So everyone's looking at the other side of the spectrum thinking, oh, if only I was big and I had all these resources. And then big companies are looking to stay agile and create these sort of incubators. So I kind of feel like from the starting point of mindset is so important.
So a massive takeaway for me was we have to think big as entrepreneurs. Is absolutely fundamental. So when you are thinking ahead to the next month, the next 6 months, the next year, I want you to think about what you want to make happen and then ask yourself, could I think bigger? Could I go bigger? Could I achieve this in a faster space of time? Push the boundaries on what is possible. Question yourself. Ask yourself. Take a step back and say, am I dreaming big enough right now? Am I thinking big enough right now? Is more possible for me? Could I do and achieve more? And play with it. Have fun and expand your mind. Expand your thinking. So that was the first takeaway that I got from QuickBooks Connect. Then the second takeaway came from listening to the current CEO talking on stage at the QuickBooks conference on day 2 of the conference, I think it was. And he was so inspiring. He was an amazing speaker. And I picked really out from his conversation, from his talk, the fact that for all entrepreneurs, we really have to know what we stand for. We have to know what our core values are, what is at the heart and soul of what we're doing, because this is what we have to keep coming back to over and over and over again. And so while listening to him talk, it made me start thinking about FEA and what FEA stands for. And it was just so inspiring because, we all forget to do it. And we all get so caught up in the weeds of building a business that we can fall off track. We lose connection with why we're doing what we're doing. And all of a sudden we're like, what the hell am I doing anymore? I don't even know. So it really reminded me to actually go back to home with it all. Go back to why. Like, why I'm doing it and what do I stand for? So ask yourself the question, what does my business stand for? What are the core values of my business? And why am I doing it? Why am I building my business? Why do I want it to become successful? So just some really simple things, but are truly, truly powerful. I had the most amazing experience in San Jose. I met some incredible people, and I was just absolutely so blown away and inspired by a $1 billion company that is a 34-year-old startup that calls itself a 34-year-old startup. And the fact that it doesn't matter whether you're a $1 billion company or you're starting your business today, that as entrepreneurs, we all have to do the same things. We all have to really think the same way in terms of how we elevate our thinking and how we grow our businesses. And it was really inspiring to know. And it's just the everyday person that takes an idea and makes it massive, and every single one of us can do it. QuickBooks made me think big and made me believe that it's possible for all of us to go out there and build wildly successful businesses. So I hope you've enjoyed this insight and a bit of behind the scenes of my whole experience at the QuickBooks conference. It was so much fun, and I'm so glad that I got to take you behind the scenes with me.
I took it to my agent, and this was not a modeling agent. This was an agent that was handling me as an actress. All models try to act, child. You see, it didn't get me that far in that world. But so I took it to my acting agent, and I was like, I have this